Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto were kidnapped by Kaguya, part 5. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Kasumi, who is she? Naruto asked her, as Sasuke lifted Kasumi, as the woman smothers Naruto with her peacock breasts, as the other girls were blushing at how forward she was, as Kid was glaring at her E-cup breasts, since she is the youngest of the 9 now 10. As Naruto was groping her plump ass, as they kiss each other, as Sasuke was smiling since she knows that Naruto will attract a lot of women, as she, Kasumi, and Kaguya are willing to share only who they deem worthy, since they are the alphas. Really Kasumi, you didn't tell Naruto about little old Ari? The woman said, as she continued to make out with Naruto, as she had to suppress the feeling to have her way with him, as she fell color intent of the rest of the girls, since they agreed that Satsuki, Naruto, Kasumi, and Kaguya be his first since they wanted to be special, since Ari knew about Naruto's childhood, that not even her who was the darkness of Kasumi, would even do to someone who was also a victim, as they could relate to them, despite being the descendant of both Indra and Asur. I wonder what Narumi is doing right now. Satsuki thought. Konoha. Narumi waking up from her bed since she lives with Anko, G-Cup, and Kurenai, G-Cup, now ever since she was 10, as Narumi demanded Minato and Kushina to sign the adoption papers, so that Anko could adopt Narumi, as they accepted since they don't want to be dead before their prime. As Minato complied, as he saw the image of the Shinigami grinning at him. Narumi looked at Kushina, as the woman was trying to reconcile with her, as she was pleading, and Narumi knew that her feelings were honest, as she had the decency to redeem herself towards Naruto before faking their deaths. But it's Naruto who will judge her if he wants her back, despite the changes that he and Satsuki had done, since he doesn't consider her as his mother anymore. I can't believe that you, the strongest woman who was considered an outsider, actually caved in just from a few sweet words of a prophecy, and preserved the balance, along with empty promises of helping Naruto. Narumi said, angrily glaring at, as she puts a lot of chakra into her hand, and slapped Minato all the way towards the Hokage monument that the impact broke Tobirama's nose, as Kushina cries that she failed her daughter. As they left, not noticing that Narumi's eyes turned purple with ripple patterns with 6 spinning around the pupils, as they instantly turned back to her normal eyes, as Kushina thought she was seeing things, as both Narumi and Anko left. Narumi graduated at 10 with the use of shadow clones, which her brother taught her before his death, in order to learn faster, even to learn ninjutsu, in order to help Anko of her cursed seal, as Naruto promised the snake mistress to get rid of the curse mark, as he sent a shadow clone to do it. And kill the snake that held Binzaitan's soul fragment, and protect herself and her loved ones, because Narumi knows that Jiraiya have been blackmailing Anko and Kurenai for sexual favors. She decided to wait for her friend Hanabi to finish to form a team with her, in which Hanabi blushed deeply that she fainted, as Narumi caught her, and fainted in her arms, as Narumi knew about her crush on her, and Naruto. After she graduated the top of her class, she got the highest scores, as she became the 3rd person with the highest scores in Konoha history, with the first being a tie of her brother Naruto, and her adoptive sister Satsuki, and in 3rd were Minato and Itachi. She became the apprentice of Anko Mitarashi along with Hinata, in order to give her confidence, and taught her, as well her teachings, as most male Haka covered their groins, as someone did the unthinkable. Flashback Ryuchi Cave. Anko brought them to Ryuchi Cave, as moral support, as the white snake sage Kaguya told Anko that she doesn't have the cursed mark anymore, meaning that Orochimaru died or someone remove it, as Kaguya knew that Anko was ready to become a true sage of the snakes, as Narumi and Hinata watched. As Kaguya injected nature energy to Anko, as it didn't affect her due to her strong will since she passed the trails easily, as her eyes gained purple markings, black sclera, slit pupils on her eyes, and no drastic appearance. As the first time in more than 2,000 years to ever gain a true sage of the snakes, with one-upping Gamamaru thought she knew that Anko would be her first and last student of snakes in jutsu, as she passed her knowledge to her when she bit her. As she saw greatness in her, whether for good or evil is her own choice. How do you feel about Anko-sama? Hinata asked her. I feel powerful and calm while sensing even the most vibrations, and even the snakes inside the whole cave system. Anko said, as she manipulated the ground into a bench so the 3 girls could sit down, as Kaguya looked at Anko. Anko Mitarashi, you have proved and showed us that you have the will, strength, and perseverance in becoming a sage of the snakes, something that I always knew. Kaguya said with pride, as Anko reverted her markings to normal. Thank you Kaguya-sama. Anko said, bowing to the great white snake sage, as she began to sleep peacefully with a smile on her face, as her work was done, as the trio left the cave. End of flashback. Anko and Kurenai became a legit couple after becoming a sage, despite that some villagers still shunned and disliked them for being a same-sex couple, despite being both bisexual, aside from still calling Anko snake whore the she. And anyone who interacts with her must be killed, even if her adopted daughter was the Yondaime Hokage's daughter, as they fear she would become the second Orochimaru and mark the children with curse marks. After gaining the mark, she nearly caused her to kill herself to end her shame, just like Sakura did until she met a young Naruto years ago that was going to do the same thing, since he was hated by nearly everyone for something he didn't had control. That the two voices in his head, Kasumi and Naruto, told him to not do it since they like him, and said about Hinata not wanting this, but his mind couldn't bear the suffering any longer, until Anko asked him if he wanted to go out with him to eat dango, as the owner was at least civil to Naruto, in which he happily accepted, as he became her hope in this forsaken and hypocritical world. Strangely, after the events of Taki and Kusa, her curse mark suddenly disappeared, as she was finally happy that the corrupted nature energy and the snake Sanin's influence were gone from her system. After Naruto and Sasuke died at Wave, since they don't have the demon boy to pin the blame on, as they put it towards Anko, as 20% of the civilian population were killed by Narumi for insulting her new parents Anko and Kurenai, who is also part Uchiha that only 4 living beings knew. And 3 are her lover Anko, Narumi, and Naori, since if others knew that Kurenai is part Uchiha, she would be a breeding stock, or worse being with Asuma Sarutobi. While Jiraiya gets his balls bitten by Anko's snakes after being hit by bags of courtesy of her best friend lover Kurenai since the academy, as they adopted a girl named Naori Mitarashi, who is a girl that didn't had a name before that Anko adopted years ago, and gave her the name Naori due to her resemblance to Naori Uchiha, who was Kurenai's grandmother. She has the same age as Narumi, has short purple wavy hair with cropped bangs covering her forehead. She was more silent and loner type before, but the more she interacted with her adoptive family, she became more open to people she could trust, but she is still cold and sadistic towards people that tries to hurt her family and friends, especially when she uses Susanoo with shadow clones that look like a Tengu. Even Anko became, she actually deserved the rank for everything she had done, sensei of her own team consisting of Narumi, Naori, and Hanabi, since Hanabi wanted to learn outside the box, since she has doubts of only using her clan's techniques and traditions ever since Hinata left the clan compound and lived with Sakura's cousin Flare and her friends. The other reason is that a branch member saw her kiss Narumi and alerted the elders. Flashback Haiku compound. The clan wanted to brand Hinata and Hanabi with the caged bird seal for having bisexual heiresses, but Flare persuaded them by using wood style, as she shot a seed from her into a Haiku elder that hated Hinata the most and couldn't evade the homing seeds as branches were formed. As a tree grew inside the former elder, as Flare told them that it was a warning, as she sported a motherly smile that would scare Madara, as another elder tried to complain, but Flare broke the elder's right hand finger by finger, as they saw her opened eyes turn green with black sclare. As she was giggling with sadistic glee, as the elder's pleas fell on deaf ears, as some of the branch members tried to intervene, as Flare realized their intentions, as they looked into her eyes, as the branch members fell to sleep, as she only glanced even with their Byakugan activated. As Flare looked at Hiroto Haika, father of Hiashi, and Hisashi, who is alive since Kumo made peace with Konoha since Satomi, Hinata's mother knocked the ambassador, as Aide the Fourth Raikage never ordered his ambassador to kidnap the Haika heirs, as it was suspicious that the ambassador knew how to get into the compound without Byakugan users not noticing him during the patrols, as it had to be someone from the village to have gave him the info or that he was working for someone else, as Minato wanted to say Danzo, but he never found evidence. A would have wanted war against Konoha, but didn't since he respects Minato, as he outfasted him many times during the Third War, and would kill his shinobi without even moving. Now Hiroto, if you ever lay a finger on Hinata-chan and Hanabi-chan, I would gladly tear your limb from limb, as I take your precious sperm, along with the ones who tried to oppose me faster than the Horatian. If I ever hear another threat to Hinata, Hanabi, and Nelly, I make sure to make the Uchiha massacre look like child play, but to the Haika clan. Flare said with a demonically voice that sent shivers to the living elders, as Flare knew that well-kept secret, while Hiroto saw the image of a Shinigami behind her, as few of the main members watching soiled themselves. Good thing that Hinata, Hanabi, and Ellie weren't present, since that would have scared and aroused them at the same time. As of that day, the Haika clan had no heiresses, since those three would never lead a clan of people with huge sticks up their asses. End of flashback. After the event, under Konoha, Danzo was sucking his thumb and cradling himself, as he felt the horrors Flare did at the moment. At first he wanted her en route for having a superior version of wood style than her grandfather Hashirama, that can suppress tailed beasts, and Jinchuricus instantly than Tenzo, the intellect, and can manage her emotions far better than his hero and father figure Tobirama. The cunning of Madara Uchiha, the strength and medical and poison expertise of Tsunade and Chiyo of Suna, the extensive knowledge of Fuinjutsu nearly at Mido Uzumaki's level, and can even sense negative emotions. Flashback Training Ground 43. As Flare was strolling through the training ground where she met Naruto when he was 4, as when she was 6 years old, she saved him from the mob that once again were trying to kill him. On that day when she saw his eyes, she saw greatness that even with darkness and hatred in his heart, he still is pure, that she developed a crush on him, as the boy is a chick magnet, and would gladly share him with other girls. Suddenly Danzo's fucktoys tried to ambush her, as the cannon fodder was stabbed by trees she made without even using the snake hand seal, nor moving from where she is standing, a feat that Hashirama never did. Is it because of the photos of you autoerotically asphyxiating yourself while wearing a copy of my granduncle's armor? Flare smirked while showing a pic, as a few of his written-in felt nauseous at the image of it while in another village in the Land of Fire, Tenzo was vomiting at a restaurant bathroom during a date with his girlfriend Yukimi Buri, since he retired of being a Konoha shinobi to find himself. And met again with the first girl he developed feelings, as she finds him funny. How did you get those? Danzo threateningly asked. I have my ways. Flare said, as Danzo was fuming, but tried to appear emotionless. Danzo even tried to use Shisui's Magiku Sharingan to make her join Rude on her own free will, but it didn't affect her at all, as she sits on the floor doing a Madara pose. The perfect Genjutsu, and it didn't affect her. Danzo yelled internally since Flare is already immune to mind control techniques. Really Danzo? I didn't have to use Sage Mode, which makes me sad. She said calmly, as she made water mixed with wood-style chakra from her mouth. Water style. Heavily weeping Flare said through telepathy, as water from her mouth penetrated the locks, and cut Danzo's implanted right arm that had Sharingan, and the face of the moronic Hashirama, that was turning into a tree that sprouted flowers showing Sharingan eyes. So that's why you wanted the massacre to happen to harvest my cousin's clan's eyes. Flare said menacingly towards the Warhawk. It was for the good of Konoha. Danzo yelled, as Flare looked pissed. But for Konoha the only good you did was by weakening us, and creating more enemies, and I know that you blackmailed Benzaten when she put that mutated arm on you, tried to replicate my grandpa's wood style, and nearly corrupted her. Allying yourself with Hanzo in order to become Hokage, and corrupted the Akatsuki into a terrorist group. I have more dirt on you that can make a one-sided war against you. You never actually cared about protecting Konoha, only your own benefit, and your version of Konoha with you, as its sole ruler. Though it doesn't matter since it would have the same hypocrisy and backstabbing ways, as always. Flare shouted demonically, as she released a lot of color intent towards Danzo that made him add more gravity on him, as he needs to eliminate the girl, as she knew too much, and use her DNA for a better, and controllable wood style. He summoned Baku in which she produced a tight Narum, corpse flower, that Baku became entranced at the beauty, as it started to bloom, as Flare puts on a gas mask out of nowhere, using yin-yang style. As the flower started to bloom near Baku's mouth with the vines holding it down with the mouth forcefully opened, as it lets go a very dreadful smell that Baku breathed, as it was poisonous even the Sharingans from Danzo's right arm began to bleed blood, as they become useless. As Danzo tried to use Izanagi to escape Flare, but the 10 eyes got destroyed by Flare, as he was in agony, as Baku reverse summoned itself, but somehow came back, as Danzo ordered Root to help him get away from the training ground, as Flare left happily while whistling. As the scene pans towards a dead Baku with bleeding eyes, and foaming saliva, as Danzo orders his Root to burn the body. Well Danzo didn't show it in his face, but inside he developed a fear of Flare, as she used her arm, and plucked Shisui's old right eye, and squashed it with her hand, and burned the blood so not recreated, rendering him useless without Milkujin to extend Izanagi. As Flare destroyed the Sharingans from his Milkujin arm. No wonder they call her the sadistic Senju. Danzo thought to himself, as he saw her leave, as he ordered his Root to take him to heal, as his teeth fell out. Well that takes care of that for now. I could have killed you at any moment by taking out, but Naruto and Sasuke got dibs to kill you, and I even reconfigured your reverse force symbol seal when you were monologuing. So enjoy the few years of life that you have with your backstabbing bastard. Flare said, as she flipped at him, and left to her home, as she called her closest friends Alyssa Chinik, Sana Sunoyami, Arina Nakiri, Chifusa Manu, Kajifusa Manu, Kirika Misono, Shura Kurigakure, Yuki Andy, Asuka Agur, and Mia Stewartson for their usual Yuri time, as they are bisexual. And the only man they accept to fuck them is their Naruto-kun, while Danzo gulped at what she said Naruto and Sasuke, as Danzo knew, as well according to his informants, that they are more powerful than Hashirama and Madara in their prime, as what they did in Taki and Kusa respectively. End of flashback. Since Anko has been more of a mother than Kushina, and Anko gave her and Naori the choice to become the summoner of the snakes, since Narumi sensed something shady about the toads and Jiraiya. However, Naori declines the offer, since she already has a summon in the form of a crow by the name of Kuju. Narumi has seen that Kushina at least is repenting for what she has done for neglecting Naruto during his childhood, since Minato, as always, was busy with being Hokage, as Arashi and Memes started to fear her since she made them sterile, as they tried to use the Kyuubi's chakra. But every time they tried she uses her sealing chains to suppress them. As they along with Hanabi, Alexis, Akiza, and T who wanted to support her, as they went to the Forest of Death, as Narumi summoned on her first try something unexpected, as a being of 1,000 meters made of wood that looks like an 8-headed snake with 2 giant claws and legs. What surprised them the most are the 10 tails that are like a rattlesnake's tail, and in the chest, it has a gigantic hide that is a mix of the Rinnegan and Sharingan with 9. Anko had to suppress her fear due to the sheer size of the beast that makes the nine tails look like a baby in size, while Hanabi was nearly blinded due to the sheer amount of chakra that she saw with her Byakugan, which was less than what Naruto has. Meanwhile with Katsumi felt that someone was comparing her, and it pissed her off, while to Naruto and Sasuke, the chakra felt familiar to them. Back with Narumi and Anko. What the? How could someone summon me? The 10 tails said, as it looked below with its eye in the chest, as it looked at Narumi and Anko, as it shrank down. It transformed into a tall, voluptuous, and beautiful woman with an herbless figure with H-cup breasts. Her outfit mostly consists of a small bikini top and a skirt-like bottom. 7 dragon heads curl around her body, and all of them are venomous. First time, and you summoned a being stronger than the Kyuubi without trying. I'm impressed, kiddo. Anko commented with a smile on her face, as Narumi now wears knee-high kunoichi boots, a dark orange thigh-length skirt with a slit on the right side. A tight black short-sleeved shirt that exposed her midriff. Over top of that is an open short black jacket with the Uzumaki swirl on the back in red, and on her hands are black fingerless gloves. Thanks Anko-chan. Narumi said, as she hugged Anko, who blushed, but since no one was there she hugged Narumi back, as the woman who is a 10 tails coughed. You, and what are you? Anko asked the woman. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Yamada no Urachi, the 10-tailed hydra snake. Yamada said to them, as her snakes tried to do poses. 10 tails. I thought there were only 9-tailed beasts. T asked, as Yamada's eye twitched since the academy had 2 of their quality, and multiple civilian students quitted, since they weren't capable to continue ever since the deaths of Naruto and Sasuke, as Alexis, Akiza, and T are already experienced genin of Team Shin, who he deems to participate in the upcoming Chunin exams, who is somehow Danzo Shimura's second grandchild, and Sai's, looks like Momoyaoi Rozu, brother who was thought dead, but was rescued by Konoha Anbu from one of the root labs near the Land of Lightning. But Danzo covered his tracks, as always, and outright denied his own relatives, even from doing DNA tests to prove that they are his grandchildren. The siblings may look normal, but Sai can create life by using ink, and even excellent swordsmanship, while Shin can transform into an ink monster, can nearly defy the laws of physics, teleport through ink portals, and even is a sensor that is nearly undetectable. As it took some time to have him adjust despite calling him an ink demon, but his sister and friends have defended him, in which he appreciates. He noticed that his sister Sai had a crush on Naruto, and that it took a week to recover from her depression, as he had a feeling that Naruto and Sasuke are still alive. Even the Rikis had to help them since they lack social skills, especially Sai, but as the years went by they became from Chunin to Jonin to Senseis, with their own genin teams of Alexis, Akiza, and T being on Team Shin, while Yakumo Kurama. Bless Kurama, Yakumo's former idol that only a few know about, that she gained her own body with help of Naruto, and Maka Albern being on Team Sai. Back with Narumi. As Yamada was explaining her story about why she is on the planet due to fighting against the Shinto god of the storms, and shockingly Amaterasu, and Tsukiyomi's brother, Susanoo. As he chipped a fang of her mouth of her into the Kusanagi sword during a rampage, while having escaped from old Satsuki duo in space. She would have told them about her origins, but that would be too much for them, as they were not ready yet. Suddenly she sensed someone she knew very well. Hella? She asked herself, as she ran to follow her, as the others chased her through the outskirts of the village. The Uzumaki's mass storage temple. The group was shocked to see a dilapidated shrine, but Narumi got a feeling of something or someone powerful inside the shrine. What is this place? T is scared of the place since it felt cold, as Anko is remaining vigilant despite the neglect that this place has that not even her former mentor knew about. What are those masks hanging inside? Akiza said, pointing inside while Narumi was suspiciously quiet, as if she was in a trance. Damn it, I thought she was here. Yamada asked herself. Who was here? Hanabi asked. Hella. Yamada answered the snake mistress. You mean my brother's personal doctor along with Retsu and Ahana? Narumi snapped out of the trance, and asked the 10-tailed in humanoid form, who did a spit take, since Naruto was extremely cautious that 2 women volunteered to be Naruto's personal doctors, that when Naruto met them he trusted them like he knew them for years or something. What? You don't know of the Shinto deity that your clan worshipped? Fie, I wouldn't use wood style on that, Akiza. Yamada said while looking at Akiza, who created a vine from her hand, as it touched one of the masks, as it withered, and had to cut it before it spread to her. You're from the Narumi clan? T asked, as Narumi nodded that their idol and her sister are from a powerful clan, which is weird, since they never mentioned it during the academy at all, aside from being destroyed by Kumo, Iwa, and Kiri, due to fear of Fuinjutsu, and their stamina. Not even the Sage of 6 Paths had the good graces of her, let alone interact with the deity. Hagoromo was a good man, but foolish to give chakra to his disciples, thus easily spread to everyone, chose his duty above his only family, betrayed his own mother, and denied Indra's birthright because someone manipulated her. She said in sadness, as the specter form of the Shinigami, the one from canon, appeared, as it scared the group except Yamada and Narumi. They dares disturb one of the places that links me to this mortal realm, before I seal you inside my stomach for all eternity. The specter said, as the temperature dropped while releasing color intent while the girls unleashed their own to even the Shinigamis, while Yamada yawned. Yo? Yamato said to the specter with a two-finger salute. Way to ruin the mood, Yamada. The specter said in a female voice, as it disappeared, as Hella came from behind Anko, which scared her, as the brunette woman with pale skin and green eyes greeted him. Hello. I am Hella the Shinigami, and the Shinto goddess of death, as you now tremble at my presence, and kneel before me. Hella said bombastically while the girl's sweat dropped. Well, if it isn't Narumi, and I can't believe that you grew up so fast since the day you were born, as I was the first person to touch, and bless you with help from my best friend Retsu. Hella said to Narumi, who tilted her head. You helped Kushina give birth to me, and how come you look like that, and not even recognize you? Narumi asked the beautiful goddess of death herself, who giggled. Because this is my true form, Narumi, and that no one could even sense me, not even Kasumi, even in plain sight, since I'm an actual goddess when Kasumi is actually a Hella set, until Yamada shook her head to not tell them about where they originally came, as Hella rolled her eyes. We already knew that Katsumi is the Kyuubi when she told us. Alexis said, and Naori nodded, as Hella looked at Kuju, who was sweating bullets, as Yamada was glancing at the crow, as well that began to call loudly. Don't you dare seal me inside of your chakra construct, as I heard stories from Danzo-sama about the Uzumaki clan, and their sealing arts, but failed to obtain it from Mito and Kushina. Just please, as I beg you so that you don't seal us inside your stomach, in which Naori and I have to fight against our wills for an eternity until someone frees us. Kuju spoke to Hella while pleading, which shocked Yamada that a 10-tailed speaking this young. Relax. I wouldn't seal you inside my real stomach, as that would hurt a lot, as I had a special person inside to keep him safe, until he found the perfect body to actually reincarnate. As the specter you just all saw is in fact a pocket dimension that I manipulate, and also use to gather energy like using Sage Mode. Hella explained, as they said it made sense, as Yamada interrupted while looking at Kuju. That's 10 tails. However, his power is strong, but not enough. Maybe one of those seedlings. No. You're a clone. Yamada yelled, which shocked the other girls, that Naori is a 10-tailed Jinchuriki, as that girl looked in shame that they would hate her since she is a Jinchuriki, as people mostly hate them. Show them Naori, and I know they will still accept you. Narumi said to her sister, as she took out her headband to show her Rin Sharingan that opened like a normal eye, and showed her black feathery wings to them. You must think of me as a freak for having these. Maybe I should go. Naori said until the girls came closer to hug her. So what if you are different since you're still you, even if you have a tailed beast inside you, it doesn't change who you really are. Akiza said, as Naori cried in joy at the acceptance, as she was afraid to lose her family. Girl, you look awesome. Kanoka said, as T nodded while petting softly Kuju. So this is what it feels to have friends. Kuju said. Yamada was looking at the scene, which was familiar to her, as it reminded from when she and her sisters were created. Fascinating that you are still alive, and not sick. Hella said that Anko was confused since being the 10-tailed Jinchuriki makes you immortal. Can you use Kuju's chakra into your stomach, please? Hella asked Naori, as she used chakra showing the Reaper seal, as they gasped. Naori, why didn't you tell us that Kuju was inside you by that seal? Narumi said in concern to her sister. Who would use a suicidal seal aside from Minato Baka on you? Anko asked. The question is that how come Danzo never noticed you being a Jinchuriki of the Jubi, since that is one of the ways to obtain 6 paths chakra. Hella thought to herself, since she knows the first 2 beings that harness the true powers of 10 tails, and one of them is Kaguya, as most of that clan were too lazy to realize that is by training, in order to become powerful, despite that they can absorb nature energy. As she was grateful that there are currently less than 10,000 of them, as a way to balance the universe, and if the current clan knew about the multiverse, then is the end of everything. The strange thing is that only a god like me can seal a powerful being like the 10-tailed Earl Satsuki, but I didn't seal it on her, unless there is a rogue Shinigami that I don't know who sealed Kuju inside you. Hella said. I don't know, but after accepting him the seal got destroyed, and it made me unconscious for a whole day, as I freed Kuju, as he became my summoner by his own free will. Naori said, as Narumi and Anko confirmed it. I will deal with that later since my twin sister Morticia is calling me now asking me about Naruto-kun. Hella said, as she told Narumi to use a storage seal to store the masks, and burn it, so that no one would be stupid enough to summon her avatar again, as they left the shrine, as Hella snapped her fingers, and made the wood turn into dust that scatters into the wind. Don't forget to say hi to Naruto, Satsuki, and Kaguya for Narumi. Since I need to find some souls for something special. Hella said, as she disappeared to her home dimension, as she grinned towards the bush behind her. Who's Kaguya? Kanoka asked, as Narumi shrugged, as the only Kaguya she knew was from the extinct Kaguya clan of Kiri, who were also their cousins. Let's get back to the village. Anko said, as they agreed, and left the former shrine. Unknown to them that they were spied by someone who has a left eye that is navy blue on the outside and yellow on the inside with a green slit pupil. The right eye is green on the outside with designs and black on the inside with a yellow slit pupil. I must report this to Danzo-sama now, the mysterious figure said, as Shunshin went to Root HQ to report to Danzo. Meanwhile with Naruto's group. As Black Sun were inside Naruto's complete Susanoo, as they traveled to Kiri while Kurur and a few stayed in the land of waves to rest, since Kurur doesn't want to set foot in Suna unless her children or Naruto are with her. The rest trained to hone their skills since they have seen Naruto and Sasuke sparring in a pocket dimension for safety reasons and to avoid suspicion. The group consisting of Naruto, Satsuki, Kasumi, Rin, Bosetgaya, Misuri, Yodo, and Kid went to Kiri to find if Murahan the six-tailed slug and her Jinchuriki are roaming the land of water. As Naruto landed in a town near Kurigakure due to the civil war that continued due to Obito Uchiha, because he thought Rin died when Kakashi killed her, not knowing that Madara planned it, something that Satsuki told them ever since Kaguya got rid of Indra. And assures chakra from inside them, but kept the knowledge of every person they chose, as host, sans the first transmigrants. Weird, I could have sworn that I sensed someone familiar. Naruto said, as this affected Satsuki and Kaguya, as well as Naruto and Kasumi tilted their heads. Meanwhile at Omegakure, as Naruto created a safe house there, as well in other places like in Kumo, Iwa, Kiri, Suna, and Niraim, in order to gather intel of the tailed beasts, and a place to relax. As his mastered blood clone technique to combine it with shadow clones that can absorb nature energy to become more durable, and able to give the memories to the original Naruto, as it dispels into blood. The clones gained the trust of their present leaders, and people by using his current form to blend in that even learned about the remaining Jinchurikis that he interacted, as they were all women named Yujido Nai, who has Kuroka the Nibi sealed inside her since too. Samui Nai who has Kathal the Hachibi, and the most surprising of those two, is that they are sisters, and even cousins to Naruto, as well. The reason that Aitsuki IV didn't try to invade Konoha is that it would be a waste of resources and lives, since his spies told him that Arashi and Menma are only pseudo-Jinchuriki since his father III told him about the Gold and Silver brothers. They were also ancestors of Yujido and Samui, but even still they are well loved by the villagers, despite that the Kumo Council are trying to make ways to have them killed, as they are more powerful than the Reikage. As told by himself, especially the Naruto clone who was trained by the very Reikage himself. However, he didn't told A that the tailed beasts are freed from their containers, while the girls were training on Turtle Island, and that he had sex with the girls including Mabui, the Reikage's secretary, and Kari, who he found out that she is an Uzumaki, as well. While in Iowa is that they are treated like tools mostly towards Suzumabachi Kamizaru, who has luminous Valentine the Gobi, despite being relative of Inoki and of Ishikawa, and the very fence-sitter's granddaughter Kurasuchi, who has Zabumaru the Yambi inside her. And despite being hated by their village, both have good relations with their tenants since they are females, and innocent than their first Jinchuriki ever since the incident, as they took a liking towards Naruto, and even told the two girls that he was Namikaze's son. And also despise him for choosing backstabbers than his own family, which was different to them because the Zabumaru and Luminous chose Kurasuchi and Suzumabachi as their containers. While Inoki was scared, pissed, and proud, as he was scared that he thought Naruto was Madara Uchiha, pissed that his Jinchurikis are in love with the son of the Yondaime who was presumed dead, and proud that he has a new apprentice. As he swore that he won't betray the village, Naruto thought for a moment imagining of him using Tsukiyomi on Inoki, by making him watch Naruto playing Kurasuchi and Suzumabachi for weeks non-stop, and then wedding with finally looking at his grandchildren at the age of 100. As it only passed a second, as Naruto plainly said no, as he was wary due to Dindra, who is a missing nin who is also her sensei's granddaughter, and that man's bastard daughter, as he will not say his name in Naruto, not realizing that Naruto saw Inoki's body language, and deducted that Dindra is a relative of him. Meanwhile in Konoha, Minato sensed that something awful would happen to him in a later time, which made him scared. Inoki was impressed that Naruto learned everything he knew, as well as MK's techniques such as dustless bewildering cover, fission jutsu, and even particle style. Detachment of the primitive world technique. When Naruto showing him his Keketaka of sky style, which consists of the elements affinities of wind, water, and lightning style, which is stronger than particle style, as it destroyed a mountain just from Naruto using sky style. Pressure cannon that Inoki demanded him to marry his grandniece, and relative who looked at Inoki who once again broke his back, while Zabumaru was laughing her ass off, while Luminous carried her sister back to the village. The only one that he didn't find is Murahan's Jinchuriki until the blood clone met hot air Tsuchigumo, saying something finding the current host of Murahan the six-tailed slug, as Utakata died from the extraction, as to finding the new host, as part of his will to her. Back with the group. Naruto leads the group through the town towards the Kiri rebels, while suppressing their chakra, as people were glaring at them, but ignored them, as they heard a certain pink-haired banshee screaming, as Naruto and Sasuke transformed themselves into civilians towards the location. As they saw Sakura being held by two Kiryanbu, as she was crying, as they saw random civilian women being raped by Kiryanins and bandits, as they know what's going to happen. When Satsuki saw this, it reminded her of what could have happened if she never had anyone but her arrogance, as she activated Amaterasu to burn the scum and women who lost their ways, while Naruto got extremely angry that they would try to rape Sakura. As this reminded him of the times he got raped when he was a child, that even then Minato and Kushina thought he was lying. Naruto, please calm down. Kasumi said through telepathy that Sakura couldn't know who he really is. Katsumi, you and Naruto have been with me all my life so far. Do you think that I would keep calm about this when it happened to me a lot during my childhood? Naruto thought back to her, as Kasumi already knew since he was born, despite hating humanity for hunting them down, ever since Indra tried to enslave them, as she sensed that Indra was manipulated, as with having most of the 10 tails. And Kaguya's memory, she knew that evil is taught, not born with it. Black Zetsu was mostly misguided. Despite hating her before for being a fangirl, but as the years of him training and talking with Satsuki, Naruto, Katsumi, Kaguya, and even Zero, and learning on who to actually trust or not, even him who is trigger happy when in battle, calculating, cold, and sadistic, he would never rape a woman. He and Gaia began killing the rest of the Kirinin and bandits as he burned their corpses and freed the women and children from the human trafficking. Suddenly Sakura sprayed pink corrosive acid to Kirinin's face that was in front of her, as Vine strangled the second one until he was decapitated, as Sakura punched the first one that he saw with his disfigured face, that Sakura held his heart, and squished it, leaving the nin dead on the floor, as the others gasped that she uses wood style. Wisdom Wolf Decay. But only 5 beings know how to do it. Kasumi asked, as she saw them in action. You gotta be shitting me. Naruto cursed himself that he never expected that a die-hard fangirl would be the container of the 6-tailed slug Murahin. As Naruto came close to Sakura, she immediately hugged the disguised Naruto, who surprisingly hugged her back. Thank you, Naruto, she said, crying, as it surprised him, Satsuki, and Katsumi. She knew that it was actually him, as she blushed. Wait, how did you know it was me? Naruto said, as he and Satsuki dispelled their disguises. Murahin told me, Sakura said, as Kaguya face fell on the floor, as Ki did a jaw drop, as a poof was heard, as a slim young woman of below average height, having long, white hair which curled slightly at the ends, with 2 bangs framing her face, and reaching down to her chest. Her hairstyle's most distinctive trait is a short upward ponytail obtained by gathering and tying the hair covering her forehead. Due to her always adopting such fashion, her hair seems to have adapted to it, with the hair on her forehead remaining pointed upwards even when not tied. She has large blue eyes, and a curvy, voluptuous body, with large breasts. Wearing a sleeveless, ankle-length maroon dress with a pleated skirt. The chest is adorned by a large pink bow, and similarly colored trimmings frame the rather ample neckline, acting as straps and circle around the waist. Murahin also wears high-heeled shoes that match her dress, and accessories with a small chain necklace with a blue oval gem attached to it, and a bracelet made of white flowers circling her right wrist. Salutations to Naruto-kun, as we finally meet, Murahin said, waving cheerfully. But how come we didn't sense you when we were in Konoha, as you know that I can sense emotions? Am I losing my touch? Kasumi told her younger sister while Naruto was comforting. Honey, you aren't losing your touch. It's just that it was unexpected. Naruto kissed Kasumi on the lips. Oh, Naruto-kun, you always know what to say to cheer me up. Kasumi answered back. Okay, Sakura, you can take out the disguise now, Murahin said, as Sakura nodded, as she became taller to their current height, wearing a sleeveless red kippa dress that reaches her upper thighs, with white trimmings, and a white circular design on the back, while it is tied with a black obi. She wears black shorts underneath the dress, black gloves, and pink elbow and knee protectors. She has also changed her previous boots to regular black high-heeled ninja sandals, as her eyes became livelier, and her hair cut short, as her tips were light bluish. The most surprising were 2 things, as Sakura has double E-cup breasts, and a plump ass that is bigger than Satsuki's. Naruto was impressed by her mature appearance, as he looked at Satsuki, who has also matured during the years of training, as well as she also befriended her dark side, who was also busy with Zero inside their mindscape after taking and inspecting the memories of the events of the massacre. And we're also glad that Mikoto was still alive, along with a newly reborn Shisui who changed her name to Akeno, the Akeno Himejima from High School DxD, even wearing the Kuo Academy uniform that never knew who made her reborn. As someone left the Manjiku Sharingan of her great-great-grandfather Kagami Uchiha, as Mikoto found her, and brought her to live with her at Satsuki's old apartment that she bought. As she helped Akeno to transplant the eyes of Kagami on her to evolve it into the EMS, it has another 4-pointed shuriken, but in the opposite direction. While she was sleeping, she began to regret about her past life, as Shisui, such as from withholding her rival's need of aid out of envy, of telling Danzo about her Manjiku ability, and even spied on her own clan, all for the good of the village that hated her clan, because of one action of Tobirama Senju, it despised Madara Uchiha. as she swore to be loyal to Naruto and Satsuki, as it was the shinobi system for worsening the world, and would gladly help them, as they are her family now. Sorry for everything, Naruto. It's because ever since I was 5 that my mom, dad, and cousin Flare visited Kiri for a vacation until some Kirinin captured and turned me into a Jinchuriki to destroy Konoha, but failed when mom and Flare killed them, but the deed was done. As I became Rahan's container with a better seal that lets her come and go whenever she wants so she doesn't feel imprisoned. After that, with help of Flare's wood style and helping me suppress Murahan's chakra so she isn't detected, and even started to train me in wood style and yin-yang style, ever since I learned of my affinities of earth, water, yin, and yang, in order to become a medic. As mom started to train me to improve myself, that even I became worthy to sign the snail contract that mom has, and they even helped me raise my personal summon that I named Kishi Michi, that she grew into a snail dragon. She has also helped learn Sage Mode at Shikatsu Forest during my free time, while using shadow clones to absorb nature energy faster with help of Murahan, as well. Sakura explained, as Naruto was surprised that Sakura also has wood style, and learned Sage Mode. Sakura closed her eyes, as she opened them, as they saw her eyes being grey, meaning that she mastered her Sage Mode. If Flare is your cousin who is part Senju like me, that means that you are Naruto, while remaining compass since they never expected Sakura to be from his clan. Our cousins Naruto-kun and Satsuki-chan. A voice said, as it also came from Sakura in the form of a shadow clone transforming into a young girl with white hair, which she styles with a red-pink ribbon on the left side, and red eyes. She wears a long black dress made of black ribbons that are trimmed in red that covers her E-cup breasts. The length of the dress, and the length of the ribbons it is compassed to vary. Her face, dress, and legs are covered in red markings. Naruto did something unworthy, and out of place to him. He fainted. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.